No way.
Round 2.
What's happening, Rizzle Squad? We hip-hop fans really have been spoiled over the last few months with the good stuff. In just a week from each other, we got Kanye West dropping the faith-filled Experience of Donda, and Drake matching him step by step with Certified Lover Boy. Apparently, though, Drake didn't really think that just 27 tracks of Ye's cuts was really enough for us fans to digest. Almost like an early Christmas present, Drake took the time to leak another brand new Kanye song called Life of the Party that featured Andre 3000 from Outkast taking a verse. Now that's something that sounds like a dream come true for most Kanye fans. Not so much with Kanye himself, though. It's not like this is Drake hitting below the belt, though, since Ye went ahead and allegedly leaked his home address while he was still tracking his album. Considering just how long Donda was to begin with, the fact that he had to cut a lot of tracks was really him trying to sort out the best quality songs out of all of them. So, why the hell would he drop the one song that has one of the greatest rappers of all time on it? Even though each of them has their war of words going on right now, why is it no one's talking about the elephant in the room with Andre? I mean, this is a man who never released a solo album to this day and has only showed up for guest verses on some of the best, from appearing on Gorillaz tracks to Frank Ocean to the latest Anderson .Paak record. You know that this kind of thing should have been a slam dunk for Kanye's album, but Andre himself has actually come out of the woodwork to finally speak up on the matter. A short time after the actual track was released, Andre sent a little message out to the fans saying his piece on what the whole feud was about. As he tells it, Andre was apparently brought into the project because he wanted to be on a track that would be focused around something as delicate as Kanye's mother. It could have been really wholesome, but that whole concept kind of got butchered once it became the center of a feud like this. If you asked Andre why he didn't bother appearing on the album, the decision wasn't really his to make, though. Up until he recorded his final verses, 3 Stacks was under the impression that this wasn't going to be a censored album, so most of his verse had the occasional profane word thrown in there just to go with the rhyme scheme. It's not like he's meaning to be offensive or anything. When you're freestyling and you're a wordsmith like Andre, some words just roll off the tongue a little better than others. Once Kanye actually decided to make the album completely clean, Andre was saying that it became more and more apparent that his verse just wouldn't work. As he tells it, I didn't know that was the plan before I wrote and recorded my verse. It was clear to me that an edited, clean format of the verse would not work without having a raw original available, so sadly, I had to be omitted from the original album release. I mean, I guess it could. Then again, would you want a guest verse from a guy like Andre and have to hear a slight pause after every other word to clean up everything? Which is a shame, because for anyone who has heard, it's one of the most emotional performances that Andre has ever laid down up until this point. That's the way Kanye apparently wanted it, though. So the final version was left off the album, or so they thought, when Drake eventually released it himself. A lot of people from Kanye's management had their work cut out for them, not wanting to detract from the hype machine that Donda was already generating. At the same time, it would be one thing if the fans thought this track wasn't any good. From the sounds of the fans on social media, though, this is the kind of song that would have been absolutely amazing in the context of the rest of the album. One fan on Twitter even went so far as to say that there was no reason for Drake to release one of the best songs of the year that didn't even belong to him. There are even entire videos being made about this song making the rounds on YouTube, with even some critics calling out Drake for releasing the best song of his career without him on it. If this were the whole conversation, though, it would just make Drake look like the bad guy. Further on his message, Andre talked about how the final version that Kanye used for the song originally had a verse where he was trashing Drake, just like we heard on 7 AM on the Bridal Path. You gotta remember that Ye probably intentionally left this song off and then sent the message that the beef between him and Drake would be done if he didn't diss him on CLB. Even though Drake looks like the bad guy in hindsight, Andre is quick to say that he wants no part of this feud. This wasn't just some little digs at Drake either. From the sound of the record, Kanye isn't mincing words about any of these lines. He calls out Drake by name in verses and even brings up the infamous text convo that he had with lines like, "I put Virgil and Drake in the same text. Just told these grown men to stop it with the funny. I might hire the whole team from ACG." If you know anything about what's been going on with Drake's partnership with Nike ACG, he might have some feelings about having his biggest rival hiring some of his biggest designers. When he first took on the chance to work on Donda, he originally just wanted to come on the track for more wholesome reasons. Since both him and Ye lost their mothers at this point, he wanted to create a track that would be more of a celebration of their mothers' lives than openly dragging someone through the mud. That's when things started to get a little hazy, and when Ye ultimately decided to cut the 3 Stacks verse from the final mix. But who knows? Since Ye already did edits for something like The Life of Pablo after it was released, maybe there's a chance we'll get a new and improved version of Donda with Andre added back into the mix. On the other hand, having this song on the album in the context of the rest of the record might end up hurting Ye's product at the end of the day. Since his album was all about Ye trying to celebrate his mother's legacy and get in touch with his own faith in the process, it kind of comes to a halt when you take the time out to dunk on your rivalry. While having a new Andre 3000 verse out in the world is rarely ever a bad thing, the fact that Andre had to have it out under these circumstances probably does rub him the wrong way. So does Andre never want to work with Kanye again? From what he said in the post, that's not really true. He says that he still admires Kanye and originally felt inspired to work with him, but he just fell out of love with the track once everything went south. The same thing applies to Drake too, though. Andre said that he would have loved to be featured on the track on CLB if he were asked, but he never anticipated being part of a war of words like this. Since he's always been known to write from the heart on songs like Miss Jackson and even on songs like Solo Reprise from Frank Ocean, Andre never wanted to stir up drama if he didn't have to. Now all he's left with is a guest verse that was originally left on the cutting floor, being hyped about in the press. Andre really is one of the more wholesome figures in the rap game right now, and to see him drag through the mud just makes you feel disappointed. If you just look on social media, there are already people who just feel bad about the whole beef between both men led to something like this being released like this. One user even went as far as to say that there was no reason why new material from Andre had to be mixed up in some random fight between the two weirdest figures in the hip-hop scene right now. So how is this gonna proceed going forward? Well, we'll either have a new version of Donda that comes out just to see if Kanye wants to continue his beef with Drake, or we're probably going to end up seeing Drake look like the guy who leaked the Kanye track and Ye standing by his work. Either way, there's a little bit of a silver lining to this whole thing. When talking at the end of his post, Andre was at least being complimentary to both of these men, saying that he would love the opportunity to work with either of them in the future in case the right idea came up. He even had the idea of working with more artists in the game right now. He doesn't seem to be messing around either. In his own words, he said, "I just want to work with people that inspire me. Hopefully, I can work with Kendrick on his album. I love to work with Lil Baby, Tyler, and Jay-Z. I respect them all." But that's all we know right here, right now. Rizzle Squad, now it's time to hear from y'all. What do you think about the new leaked song and the verse from Andre? Is it up there with the best parts of Donda, or is Drake trying to air some of Ye's dirty laundry out in public? Also, do you think that there's any chance that we're going to hear more Andre verses before the year's out on any other projects? I mean, he said that he loved to work with other people, so never say never, right? Be sure to hit up the comments and let us know what's on your mind. Other than that, be sure to like and subscribe right here so you don't miss out on wherever the strange world of hip-hop takes us next. Catch you later, Rizzle Squad.